You are listening to the Zeebzob Pinewood Derby Podcast, Episode 7, sponsored by Goat Boy Products, makers of high-quality Pinewood Derby tools. And now, here's your host, Zeebzob. Hello again, all you Pinewood Derby enthusiasts. This is Zeebzob coming to you from the Zeebzob Studios in Mukwonago, Wisconsin. Just a quick update with this podcast. We'll be talking about the race that's coming up here at the Zeebzob Speed Shop on February 15th. All this information can be found at the forum that I run, zeebzob.proboards.com. Again, the podcast will be uploaded to zeebzob.wordpress.com, and my Twitter feed is at Zeebzob. We did get a couple of new followers this week. We have Mr. Dave Nash, who is Chameleon Racing. We have Truck77, and Georgia Library News is now following Zeebzob. That one may just be coincidental. I'm not sure if there's anybody that's listening to the podcast, but thank you all for following. Okay, one thing I do want to mention also is PDDR has their schedule posted. They're going to kick off February 21st. All classes will be racing. They have the money bracket race, which will be the pure stock for that race, and Door Slammer. March 21st, money bracket is going to be pure stock extreme. April 21st will be their next race. The money bracket will be Super Pro Mod. May 23rd, money bracket will be stock. And the final race they have listed on their schedule is June 20th. It's the summer shootout. All classes will be the money bracket. And the money bracket, for those of you who are wondering, is you send an extra $10 per car, and whoever wins that class gets the additional $10 that everybody sends in. So be sure to try to support them and try to win some cash with that. All right, the race at the Zeebzob Speed Shop, again, it's on February 15th. It's a Sunday. The classes we're going to run is Unlimited and Street Rod. We're going to be using the same rules as the NPWDRL. So go to my board, again, zeebzob.proboards.com. The rules are listed there. We will be giving away trophies for the winners of those two classes. Ian's got a deal with a local guy that he uses for cutting acrylic. And if you remember the last March of 2014, we had a race, and there's a trophy we gave away that's in the shape of the state of Wisconsin. So it's pretty cool. So definitely get your cars tuned up and try to win that trophy. It's pretty cool. It's definitely something that you can show off on your mantle. Todd Meyer, E3 won it the last time, and pretty jealous that he got that. It's pretty cool trophy. All right. We will be broadcasting this race live on my live stream channel. It's my live stream channel is Zeebzob. I'm also going to try to maybe get another feed going with my Ustream channel, maybe with my phone, just have a static upload. My Ustream channel is that's also called Zeebzob. Shocking. All right, once the race is over, I will edit those videos and post them to my YouTube channel. YouTube channel is, you guessed it, Zeebzob, and all that stuff will be up on my forum. The cost per car is going to be $5. We're trying to keep it nice and cheap. We just want to cover the cost of those trophies. Now, where do you send them? You send them to here at the Zeebzob Speed Shop. It is the address out here is kind of weird, but it's W249S as in South 10905 Overlook Drive. Again, W249S 10905 Overlook Drive. That's in Mukwonago, Wisconsin, and Mukwonago is Mukwonago. Wisconsin is the state again, and it's 53149. The race management software we're going to be using is the Grand Prix software. So once the races are over, I'll go ahead and post those results also to my forum. The track will be set up just as a normal league configuration, 27.1 degree slope. And again, it's a 42-foot best track that I use. The starter that I have is pretty cool. It's a wireless key fob starter. So there'll be nobody at the front of the track there, no wires, no nothing to cause any kind of vibration. So that should all be really, really consistent. The guys that'll be here that I know of course, myself, Goat Boy, E3, Quad Dad, and Mr. B should be here. I think Rocket Car is going to come. Got a couple of new guys. I know a guy named Chameleon who's following me on Twitter, as we heard earlier. He said he'll be coming out. Guy named Tony V, who initially was down and Derby, but he changed his name to Fumbles because it was too close to Scott Black's Down 4 Derby. But he said he'll try to come out here if he's got the afternoon free. I believe MX Quad. That is Todd Mackey out of Illinois. He said he's going to try to get up here, so that'll be pretty cool. He's a really nice guy. I like hanging out with him. So also there's a few racers that said they're going to send proxy. So I won't call anybody out by name. A couple of surprises. It'd be kind of cool, but we should have a good time. The races are going to start around 1:30-ish Central Time, give or take. I know people will be getting here about an hour before that and getting all set up and a couple of tuning runs for sure. But really looking forward to it. Again, it's a couple weeks between races. Well, this is actually scheduled before the PDDR schedule came out. Theirs is February 21st. So I'm not sure if anybody that's going to be racing there can race here as well. If you want, just put the label to go from here to Glenn's house. I'll be happy to make sure it gets in the mail and gets to Glenn's on time. But the other two leagues, APR and NPWDRL, those are 2 weeks after my race. But again, I will definitely get those cars back in the mail the following Monday, the day after the race, the 16th. So cars should be arriving home probably Wednesday, Thursday at the latest of that week to everybody, except maybe guys like WK and Bullet if they send Alaska and Hawaii. I'm not sure how long that'll take, but for the rest of us in the U.S., it's probably just a 2-day shipping thing. So now, Nationals update. Talking to Goat Boy this week. Looks like we're going to try to get out there on the Thursday of the week. The races are on Friday and Saturday, so we want to get out there a little bit early and try to kick back and just enjoy our time. Last year when we went out there, we were kind of rushed. We got there Friday, helped them get the track in order, got a few hours of sleep, and then right back at it. And then as soon as the races were over, we kind of just took off. This year we want to definitely spend a little more time. I know John and his crew are going to get out there probably on Wednesday from what I hear, because they want to get that track obviously set up and tuned to perfection. So we want to hang out with those guys and just have a good time. So anybody else that's thinking about going again, the Nationals in conjunction with Mid-America in Omaha, Nebraska, it's a good time. So I suggest if you're thinking about it, go ahead and make some reservations. Mention the event. It's Mid-America, held at the Class facility, which is like a big tractor factory, I guess is what it is. But I know a lot of local hotels and it will give you a discount, so definitely mention that. Now on the 15th, getting back to the Zeebzob Speed Shop race. A lot of those guys, again, are going to be coming over here. Ian's going to come a little early. We're going to do a podcast with him. So that'll be my next podcast. And you'll definitely want to tune into that one. I've known Ian for about 5 years now, and we've developed a pretty good friendship, so we know each other pretty well. I think that'll be a pretty good interaction. And he has he has promised not to hold back. He's been in this hobby for a while, and he's seen a lot of things. And he knows a lot of people, and he's had a few, few run-ins, I guess, with some people who've done him wrong. So he promises to make it a good podcast, let's say. So it should be a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to that. All right. In other Zeebzob news, I have made a couple upgrades to the Zeebzob studio. Got a little mixer and a couple microphones. Last week we had Down for Derby on, and there were a few glitches in the phone interview that I had to do a little editing to kind of piece things together. A couple times the phone dropped, the connection dropped. I had to call him back, and But I think with some of these upgrades, that should be taken care of. So we'll definitely be looking to get some phone guests on in the near future. Other news with me as far as what's been going on, I have begun working on my car for the Nationals. The main one I'm going to focus on is the Unlimited car. Body shape is pretty much done. I just got to think about how I'm going to paint it. I am kind of old school. I do like, painting. So I know some guys use wraps or stickers, or even Sharpies. But I like the old look of the paint. Oddly enough, my father was a body man. He was a painter, and if he saw some of my cars, I'm sure he'd be rolling over in his grave right now. They're pretty poor. A couple of my cars did turn out good though in the past. Some of you have seen Moneymaker and Heisenberg. Those cars turned out really well. But the last one I did, Primal Scream, kind of turned out like crap. But this one I'm gonna, try to take some time, do it right. Just haven't decided on the color yet. Thinking about maybe like a white with an orange stripe, because the wheels I have are bright orange. So kind of like an old classic, like 69 Camaro pace car, that white and orange colors that they had, kind of like that. But other than that, I've become friends with that guy who goes by Fumbles now, and he's already sending me pictures of like 3 bodies that he's built in a couple days, and it takes me 3 weeks to drill a hole, it seems like lately. But I'll definitely be focusing on the cars for the Nationals. I've got some things I want to try. So I'll actually probably build 2 or 3 cars, just because if the design that I am trying works out, I want to have at least a backup car, because my cars have the history of getting to the finals and then just doing nothing in the finals. So hopefully I'll have a couple of cars that give me a chance of doing something. But anyways, like I said, still thinking about how I'm going to paint them. Speaking of my dad, again, like I said, he was a body man. He painted cars. One little story I like to tell is when I was like 16, I had my first car. It was a Vega, and it had chrome wheels on it, so it was cool, I thought at the time, but it really wasn't. But anyways, I'm out with my buddies driving around, being a jag, and I made this lane change, of course, without looking, and I hit the side of a Trans Am. Pretty nice car too. And so I pull over and I talk to the guy and exchange information. Turns out it was some kid driving his dad's car, and the next day, to my surprise, very early in the morning, the kid's dad's calling me, wanting to get his car fixed, and the guy was actually really cool. And he says to me, he goes, as I'm talking to you, I can kind of tell that you haven't told your parents about this yet. And I'm like, well, no. And he says, just tell your parents, be honest. That's the best way you can handle this. So I took it as advice, and I went up to my dad very sheepishly, and I said, how I hit the side of this guy's car and scraped up the whole side, basically. And he said, okay, have the guy bring it into the shop. I'll fix it. So a couple weeks later, the guy brings the car in, and my dad comes home from work that day, and he sits me down. He says, I need to explain the difference between scraping up somebody's car and taking out the entire side. So, but Dad was not too happy with me with that one. But anyways, I didn't get much talent in the painting department from him, unfortunately, but I'll see what I can do. Oddly enough, when I first got into this hobby, that was actually one of my first and biggest concerns is how my car looked when I sent it into the leagues. I thought, oh man, these guys are going to see my paint jobs and think I'm just some hack, and be a laughing stock. But the honest truth is, if you see a lot of these cars, clearly the way they look is not their biggest concern. It's how fast they go. Now, that being said, there are some guys like David Jukes who just does an incredible job on the paint jobs of these cars. And, Chief, he's another guy he's a painter by trade. So these guys definitely have cars that really, really look sharp. But for the most part, if anybody's out there, going to send a car in and thinking, oh boy, the paint job's really kind of a hack job or what have you, you know what? Nobody cares. They just want you to send your cars in and have fun. And the thing is, when you first send a car in, you're probably going to be down at the bottom of the list as far as speed. Don't worry about that. We've all been there. It's incredibly rare for somebody to be a first-time racer, send a car in and be one of the top guys. That almost never happens. And the only way you're going to get any faster is by sending a car in, seeing how you stack up against the guys that have been at it for a while, and just improve. Everybody's got to kind of learn the ropes, as they say. So don't be shy about sending a car in and worrying about taking last, because let me tell you, I take last a lot, and I'm still doing it. I'm fine with it. I'd like to, do better, and in the bearing class, I do pretty well, and I like that. But boy, if I send in, in some of the other classes, I suck. But I still send them in. I have fun, and that's what it's all about. Admittedly, I don't spend the time that I should with the wheel prep and whatnot. And there have been a couple of cars where I have done that and have done pretty well. But then when it comes time to reprepping it, I get lazy and do a crappy job, and my results show. So these guys like Joel and Kinzer and all those who, month in and month out have tons and tons of cars that do really well. My hat's off to him. Spacewalker, he's another guy, just a madman, building tons of cars, and they're all pretty fast. So, but again, the only way to improve it is to keep racing, and turn to the forums. There's a lot of great information out there on the forums. Get to know some of the racers, ask some questions, but don't be one of those guys who just goes from racer to racer, just trying to get every bit of information you can and giving nothing back in return. I mean, these guys, there's guys out there like that who will just pick and prod for info, and as soon as he thinks he's got everything he can from you, he just moves on to somebody else. Those guys, I like to call those guys weasels. If you've ever seen, the way weasels kill chickens, they just go from one to another, just suck them dry, and they'll go right to the next one, suck that one dry until your whole coop is basically decimated. But, for the most part, I try to help out as many guys as I can with whatever I can. The local guys especially, because those are the guys that you see from time to time, and you actually get to know them. And these are the guys who, the local guys, you get to know them and you build friendships. The guys that, aren't in your area, but you just call on the phone and whatnot. Yeah, you can develop great friendships, but, you gotta be on your guard a little bit with some of these guys. Like I said, they'll take and never give anything. So just be on the lookout for that. But for the most part, these guys are really good. A lot of great guys, a lot of good friendships to be made. So if you're thinking about the hobby, by all means, send in and have fun. Well, that'll pretty much do it for this episode of the Zeebzob podcast. Thanks, everybody, for listening. This was a shorter one. I just wanted to update everybody as far as what's going on with the race that I'm having here at the Zeebzob Speed Shop on the 15th. Next podcast will be, I'll record it on the 15th with Goat Boy, so it'll be out shortly after that. So it should be a good one. So everybody get those cars in and let's race.